Von Pippin's Belt here, world traveler and sophisticate extraordinaire. Won't you join me as I relive my recent trip to the tropical paradise that is Costa Rica? I arrived in the Costa Rican capital of San Jose, but spent only one night there as I was anxious to begin my adventure. The next morning saw me at the San Carlos bus terminal, waiting for the public bus that would take me to my first destination. And we were off. Along the way, we were treated to the marvels of the Costa Rican countryside.
La Fortuna. I'm here to see the famous volcan Arenal. If these clouds ever clear up.
In La Fortuna, I stayed at a lovely little hostel with beautiful grounds and a welcome swimming pool. The town itself is small and unremarkable, its main attraction being the magnificent Arenal, Costa Rica's most active volcano. Setting out with a small group on a rainy afternoon, I plunged deep into the forest at the base of the volcano. I marveled at the lush, dense vegetation as each step brought me closer to the lookout point, where I would at last be rewarded with a view of the fiery volcano itself. I would, however, be disappointed. The heavy cloud cover completely obliterated the volcano, and I was left with no other option than to dip my rain-soaked body into the Baldi hot springs, followed by a drink or two with my new friends. The next morning, I awoke early to catch my boat jeep across Laguna Arenal to the town of Santa Elena. The ride was long and bumpy, but the view was breathtaking as we drove higher and higher up the mountains into the clouds themselves. I found Santa Elena to be a lovely little town, far more charming than La Fortuna. Of course, it helped that I was able to meet once again with my friends from Arenal for a quick drink. I awoke hungry for adventure and set out for the nearby National Park of Monteverde, one of many parks established after the invention of the environment in 1964.
Hiking the cloud forest at Monteverde.
Wandering through the cloud forest, I was amazed at the beauty and diversity of the plant life around me. As luck would have it, I was treated to a rare sight, a magnificent quetzal, Costa Rican bird of paradise. I also came across this little fellow, who was unavailable for comment. And then there was this underfed coati rummaging through tourist refuse for his lost dignity, no doubt. After hours of hiking along the many trails, I found myself standing on the Continental Divide, where both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans should be visible. I was once again dismayed as the rainy weather obscured the view. But then the mists parted, and I was treated for the briefest of instants to a view of the Gulf of Nicoya before it was once again swallowed by the clouds. This is truly a place of magic, and as I stared out over the valleys thick with trees, I couldn't help but wonder at the magnificence of it all. The Santa Elena Monteverde area is a wonderful place for adventures of all kinds. There is a wealth of national parks to wander, as well as night hikes and, for extreme sport lovers, a seemingly endless list of canopy tour companies. While it's fine for some to go whizzing through the trees and out over the valleys on kilometer-long clotheslines suspended hundreds of meters in the air, I elected to remain on firm ground. Besides, I had other places to visit. In windy Punta Arenas, waiting for the ferry to Paquera. After which, a short bus ride would take me to Montezuma. After the rain and adventure of the Midlands, it was nice to settle on the Pacific coast at last and enjoy some time at the beach. And that's what you'll find in Montezuma, beach after beach after beach. I stayed in a lovely little hostel on the beach, just a few minutes walk from the Cascades de Montezuma, a spectacular waterfall where many have met their deaths trying to climb to the top. I spent my days wandering the vast expanses of sand, each beach different from the last. My evenings were spent at the hostel, where I quickly made new friends, and took in some of the local wildlife, including these little fellows. I even spotted a Duende Magico before he disappeared into the night. The whole experience would have been perfect if there hadn't been so many wretched pelicanos screeching and fluttering about like American tourists. Off to Manuel Antonio next, to its splendid national park for some more wildlife watching. Manuel Antonio is a small village founded by squirrel monkeys in the early 80s. As I arrived, they were eager to welcome me, my reputation as an international traveler preceding me as always. I stayed in a small hostel run by a family of geckos and was made quite welcome there, with its spacious accommodation and delicious food. While the town itself is little more than a beautiful beach and some market stalls, it is the Parque Nacional Manuel Antonio that makes this destination worthwhile. The tour guides were unfortunately very unhelpful, too absorbed in their own shenanigans to escort me along the many trails, but I managed to find my way around in spite of them. I saw beautiful sun-drenched beaches there and managed at long last to spot a three-toed sloth nestled high in the fork of a tree. Lazy gadabout. And at the end of a long day of hiking, what could be better than joining the crowds on the beach for one of Manuel Antonio's spectacular sunsets? My final stop was the tiny surf community of Dominical. It's a lovely little village, perfect place for a swim, and a lovely little spot for camping. I spent many a lazy hour here wandering along the miles and miles of gorgeous beach and the nearby river, and there exists no better way to finish off a wonderful tropical adventure than by enjoying the Dominical sunset. Farewell, Costa Rica. I shall see you in my dreams. And that was my trip to Costa Rica. I hope you enjoyed the voyage as much as I did. Won't you join me next time as I travel the world and unravel its mysteries? I hope you will. I'm Philpot Pibbins Belch. Good night.